In terms of resource allocation, well, you must also identify your risks so that you can tell management the amount of resources you require in order for you to protect the information resources and even daily operations. So from this sentence here, it should be able to tell you that it's a big thing from strategic to operational to projects to serious enough issue to allocate resources. Can be done at the executive level, can be done at ICT level, can be done at the IS security level, and certainly at the audit level. So therefore, these are the questions when auditing. At the top level, at the opening, what are the characteristics and components of risk management, which means you must understand it in order for you to go auditing. What are the professional standards? I think we're going to cover one ISO 31000 here. The next 5 minutes I'll be there. What are the examples of risk management practices which are used in particular environments? We can always get 2 or 3 or 4 samples, including the universities. I think that's the next discussion. COVID talks about risk management. Now, let's review that. Let's just remind ourselves. I think 3 different places. If I can get, where is that? The COVID, that framework, that standard, that reference model talks about risk management at 3 different levels. Hey, this mouse is not working. Let's see. Where are we? I'd open the standard somewhere here. Yeah, I'm not able to. Where is it now? Here it is. Let's see. Yeah, here it is. If you go to this window, if you go to this framework, which have always been our reference framework, at the governance level, ensure risk optimization, EDM 03. And the explanation is there. If you go to EDM 03, it tells you, EDM 03, it tells you uh, what that means at the top, at the governance level, at the board level, at the executive level, really top executive level. And it tells you here that this is to ensure that ICT related risk enterprise risk does not exceed the enterprise appetite. And we'll look at the standard and say, how does the standard guide you? This is to ensure the impact of ICT risk on the enterprise is identified, is managed, and potentially serious consequences are avoided. The second level, I think there's another module here, is AP0, APO12. APO12, I think that's the one. And this is called risk. This is at the application level, at the operational level. It says here we must ensure the integration of ICT related risk management into the overall strategies, if you wish. I think those are the two. Maybe there's a third one I can't recall. No, I think they are those two. We directly. So 2 of the 31 modules talk about risk management. I think I finished with that. Now you see the emphasis, the importance of an auditor focusing on risk management. Now, but the second reason, the second standard is this one here, ISO 31000, which I want to spend about 5-10 minutes going through so that you appreciate. Then there's ISO 27001 that we may not discuss today. But the other standard is not the only one. So we will choose these 3 and make the point. Now, this ISO 31000 is a very good elaborate standard 2018 version, which I believe I've availed to you in class. I believe so. I believe so. If I've not availed it to you, then get it. It's not the time for me to be giving documents. If you have not asked for it, you use it. Only 31 people are in this meeting out of 68. Less than a half. And it's online. So this standard is a one which the University of Nairobi has taken for nearly what 10 years now, and developed their own or our own enterprise risk management framework based on this. It's a well-known standard. It's an international standard. It's been around for decades, and it's also a standard which does not require certification. So we liked it because certification is a tedious process, certification is a costly process, certification requires the review and so on. So when we discover this is one of those standards they have said, it's freely available. It's available for you to use without having to go through the certification as it is the case with ISO 9001. So just an overview. What does it offer you? I think by now you should be familiar that ISO standards have a very particular format from 2015 onwards. Prior to that, there are different clauses, different components, and different approaches. Now they have highly standardized that. This one is even briefer than the other one you get certified on. So it tells you the scope. It tells you the principles. Then it brings you to the framework. Remember, even COBIT had principles. Then it tells you the framework. Then it suggests you the process you'll have to go through. That's it. ISO 9001, ISO 27001 has got several clauses, 4 to 10. But this is a guideline, as it were. So we'll go through each one of these very quickly for you to appreciate the importance of suggesting this to the organizations. He says that this document provides guidelines on managing risks faced by an organization. And it's not only IT risks, all types of risks. You can customize this. We'll show you how we have customized it. It's a common approach. It can be used throughout the organization in very many ways, including the ICT center. What are the principles under which this is based? I believe there are 9 of them. Two, 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 8. I think there are 8 principles, and they are in this model. The rest is explanation, and they are not in any particular order. Number one is the idea that you must integrate risks into your processes as an organization, into ICT, as an institution, as a department. A risk approach must be structured, must be comprehensive. You must customize this standard or any other standard, even COBIT, at your own institution. Inclusivity. ICT is very dynamic in terms of technology, in terms of the users, in terms of the applications, in terms of the organizations themselves. So risk management has also got to be dynamic. Risk is about having access to accurate value information. Risk management is about the human resources and the factors and the cultural, organizational cultural issues that you're dealing with. And finally, it's about continuous improvement, one of the best principles in the ISO family of standards. Seeking to continually improve your security mechanisms, your ICT protection infrastructure, your processes, your people. So these are the principles. Then it tells you here's a framework. Again, I'll go through this. A framework, a diagram, a model like this explains very well. Integration. Now, the principle of integration is being applied here. And there's an explanation here which I don't have to read line by line. There is design. You must design the risk enterprise framework based on some standard and say then this is the one which is going to assist this institution. So these are the things you're going to look for as an auditor. You're saying where is the design? On what basis? Among other questions. It is about implementation. So it's one thing having an enterprise risk management framework well written, well approved, is another implementing it. It's about evaluation. This is audit. This is assessment. This is appraisal. This is internal audit. This is having a regular scheduled review of the existing risk or the implemented risk practices and improving it. And then this is where this improvement comes in. But then he says central to all these is leadership and their commitment to risk issues. The design part also goes further and tells you you need to understand the organization and its context. You need to articulate as an auditor, as ICD director, depending on which chair you sit, as management. You need to have roles and responsibilities to different people to play. You need resources. You need communicating risks. And evaluation, like we said, is about assessment, periodical review. Then it goes on now to propose a process. The process is here. You must identify scope, define scope, context, and criteria. You must identify the risks. You must analyze the risks. You must evaluate those risks and then have a mechanism for treatment. On this side is communication and consultation. This is monitoring and review. This is a regular thing. This is a regular thing. This looks like more like the steps you take. And then finally you record. So this is a process which is well elaborated. I'm not going to go through line by line. It's just a very good standard that you can use as a basis. What I need to get now is a university enterprise risk framework. I hope I can get it quickly. I've not opened it. I must get it, but I believe it's here. Risk framework is here. I want to show you how this has been applied in the case of the University of Nairobi, your university. And you'll see a direct mapping between that standard I think this is the one ICT risk framework. Yes, ISAC has got its own, there are many others and so on. I believe what I'm looking for is this document. Where is it? Here it is. So once you understand this risk management, you can actually go to the institution now, say, where is your enterprise risk management? Or where is your ICT risk management framework if you are focusing on ICT? But very often, when you audit, you go beyond ICT. And you have seen it in the previous assignments, in the previous approach, in the case that I've given. So at the university, there is an enterprise risk management framework out of which ICT risk management framework is created. That you must understand. And this is the idea of cascading. Even strategic plans are done at the corporate level and they are cascaded to the faculties, the departments, even the performance evaluation is cascaded Just like even system development is cascaded, you do them at the top level, then you must cascade them or customize it if you wish to the individual departments and processes. So this is what I've chosen to illustrate to you how an institution can have an ICT risk management framework within ICT processes, ICT center. If you look at the table of contents, it's very, very similar. It's adopted, and you'll see in a moment that it gives you an introduction, the purpose for this, the scope for these, terms and definitions, governance issues. Then this is the framework, which is very similar to the framework we saw on the other side. And then there's the issues of communication and monitoring and continual professional education among the diversity of users within the institution to appreciate risk management. So the introduction, well, I wrote it, so I think it's good. But introduction should give you just a grounding, a very good paragraph by paragraph. So this one tells you about the university strategic planning process. That's where we start from. And in that process, they talk about risk-based thinking. The next paragraph tells you about ICT center, the process, the department. The next paragraph tells you about the importance of ICT risk framework. Then we say ICT center is committed to this. You must state a commitment here, and then it goes on to show that this commitment has resulted in adopting the ISO 31000 standard to develop this framework. Then we talk about this framework. That's how you write introduction, even executive summary. Each paragraph bringing me out a point. Saying this framework, together with the other related policies, procedures, standards, and so on, forms the basis for addressing risk issues. And finally, I think this is finally here, it tells you risk management is a coordinate. This is a definition, it's introduction, so we've defined it here. Risk management is coordinated activities which together they optimize on the potential opportunities to minimize adverse effects. It's a continuous process. It's preventive, it's detective. All these are auditing work. Then it tells you what's the purpose for creating this, a short sentence, hopefully one sentence, a short paragraph, hopefully one sentence. Actually, I don't even like it that it's two sentences. It should actually be one sentence. A purpose is very definite sentence which should be written very short. But anyway, those two were necessary. So then we say, what's happening now? Yeah, I sometimes have to go this side to check that I'm communicating. What 7 people have attended now is about 50%. But then it's sometimes, I think I'm going to close this now. When I come here, I don't want to come. Oh, yeah, what has happened? It was a Word document or something. Ah, it was a Word document. It wasn't PDF. So then it says, what's the purpose? The ICT risk management framework, which details the ISMIS, information system management system, is written as requirement for compliance with standard. So then it tells you we are linking these to ISO 27000. So the purpose, this is more the statement here, the purpose of this document or preparing the risk management framework for ICT is to define the processes, the identification, the analysis, and the evaluation of high security risks at the department called ICT Center in accordance with Pro 612 of the standard. Of the 21001. So 21001 is the basis on which our ICT security is managed. But we are telling you one of the aspects of security management is risk management. So this is complementing the 21,001, which we'll speak about. Tells you the scope, the ICD risk management framework, and the related policies, processes, standard procedures apply to all forms of information resources which is stored, which is processed, which is used by the university, including from the vendors. Because the vendors or outsourced services, if you wish, are part of that. So that's the scope, it tells you. Then it tells you we need a governance issue. Can say like the COVID, we say, look, University Council, you have an overall responsibility. And they know it even by law, by the appointment. Risk is one of the things that council has got to deal with. University Executive Board, as it's called, has got a responsibility. The CEO has got a responsibility. Director ICT has got responsibility. But we've said we've gone down because this is about ICT. There is a deputy directors, each one of them has got a responsibility. There's some people we call project leaders or team managers, they have a responsibility. There is a particular person or office called chief ICT officer responsibility. The people out there on the campuses have a responsibility. And then all ICT staff. So by doing this, you're actually saying risk management is not a precept of a single group of people. It's everybody within the ICT department process. Very nice way you're saying everybody and everyone else is actually has an obligation, and that obligation is defined here. But remember, there is communication, there is continuously, you must assess people based on this, they must be aware. Sometimes people go to sleep. Then he tells you here is a general framework. And if you look at this, is exactly the framework based on 31,000 version 2018. So we are home. I'm just also telling you, you can take a standard and customize it. You can take a framework like COVID and own it. Makes your work much easier. The principles are the very same principles. So we're not inventing anything. We're just saying we except we are customizing it, we are relating it to the university. For example, there was an item about human resource. We say risk management, the ICT center should be organized or should be cognizant that the HR, that human behavior and the human culture significantly influences each and every aspect of risk management at each and every stage, at each and every process. So it's a principle, that's what is written in the standard, we just customize it. Then we have said this is the approach. Enterprise risk framework, I'm sure is mentioned here, the ISO 31000 and other related processes. So what's the objective of this? It's here. I'm going through it quickly because I'm about to stop, because it's really just to tell you this document exists. It's not mastering it, it's not cramming it. It is just showing you how an institution can customize. And you have an assignment due, or it was due yesterday, I don't know. So we say the ICD Center risk management form objectives are three. One, proactively identify, assess, and control risks, different types of risks that affect ICT center services. Develop a risk awareness culture, an education culture, an awareness culture, sensitization culture, and people should always be out suspicious and alert. And finally, ensure compliance with the policy, with the statutory regulations, including the Data Protection Act. Then we talk about the risk identification. Then we talk about the process. And this is where we go into details. Risk assessment criteria, the key activities to be undertaken, the analysis and evaluation of the risks. Phase 3, the identification and evaluation of risks, treatment options which are available. Then we go on to talk about selected control objectives, select control objectives and controls for the treatment. Sounds like now we're adopting COVID. Prepare a statement of applicability, and so on. And we have this rating, which then we use to identify risks. And we give you some label here of examples, and even these colors are very commonly used. Finally, communicate, consult, and consultation. That's what the standard calls it. So we sometimes when you go to departments, they tell you what does this one mean. But we say this we are adopting the language of the standard. Well, there are places where we customize it, but some of us have maintained that if you're going to adopt a standard, follow the structure, follow the format, follow that language, and then interpret it in your own way. And then towards the end, we have this actually, people know this as they think this is the risk framework. What it is in this is only a tool, which is an appendix here, which tells you how we identify risks, rate them, and even do what we call risk assessment rating. And there's some further detailed example. So I think risk management, I've indicated here, based on the standard you're going to use, is critical. It's a part of the, it's a critical part of information security. It's a key part of the audit that you are undertaking. It is a concept perhaps which is not commonly understood and applied, but you must deal with it. You saw it in COVID is a governance issue. I think they know that, they are drilled on that. When it comes to operationalization, is where sometimes where the problem is. So it's upon you. But you're an auditor. It's upon you as a chief information officer, but that sounds like the class I was teaching yesterday, a master MNC in IT management. So I tell them I'm preparing the BISC chief information officer, and we discuss it from that perspective. For you as an auditor, now you know what the enterprise risk management is about. You've seen an example of however brief it is, the universities, and they probably should avail this, the public document. Then you know now when auditing what you need to look for, what checklists out of this, out of the standard, if that's a standard, especially if you know the institution has adopted a particular standard. You develop five, six, seven, dozen or so audit criteria. And then you go about asking control objectives, which they are said, how they assess, how they carry out the process, and the evidence which comes out of that process. I think we go back to the course outline. In terms of just introducing it, I've done it. The rest is assignments, and I believe that you have two assignments. One has been done, probably it came yesterday. We'll check that. And there's another one coming. So you have a case, you have an application, you have an institution. And I told you at an early stage, gather all the documents. Now you know one of the documents. One of the documents you need to gather, and someone is trying to speak. That's probably someone who has just joined. Adrian, have you just joined? Are you number 52 and your microphone is on?
No, accidentally unmuted. My
Oh,
bad.
sour, sour. That's okay. At least we can hear you, and I get assured that there are people who are here. So is that document publicly available? I don't know what Aduma document you're talking about. The ISO standard 31000 is a publicly available document because
No, the risk management framework document you're showing us.
no, it isn't. The standard is publicly available, unlike the other standards which you must buy from COBIT, from KEBS. No, it's not publicly available. No, it's not. What I said is I could avail it for purposes of studying this class. But it's not, it's, there are things below the corporate strategic plan and the corporate, maybe enterprise risk management. It's available in the intranet, not publicly available, but it can be shared for purposes of learning. I'm
Please do
saying now
ping.
to finalize this, the objective here, the learning outcome, There are two at the top level, the course outline. To discuss the IT auditors, no, it's not this one here, it's this one here. To identify best practice for, hey, goodness, this is project management. This one here. To explain risk management, particularly enterprise risk management framework, I've explained it and I've given the sample of this document, which may or may not be shared. And then to apply risk management methodology in auditing. So to finish up, this lesson is this. It's back. Where is the classroom? Classroom is here. The classroom is here. How are you going to apply this? It's in form of tasks, it's in form of projects, it's in form of assignments, as you know them. There should be two. One which has just ended, and I assist you, those who submit earlier, give you comments, those who ask. I think it's this. Which one is that? Or maybe we haven't done it yet. Nice. No, this one due yesterday. Yeah, this is the one I'm here to mark. I just told you earlier in advance 64 people out of 68 have submitted. And they said you are required to identify 10 risks associated with functional areas identified in the case your group is developing. And for each risk, suggest a mitigation in a form of a matrix. We didn't even go to the kind of matrix which we have in that document that someone is asking whether it's publicly available. That appendix at the bottom, I only asked for two things. For each, first of all, you take a functional area. Maybe a matrix should actually have three columns, maybe four. One is a functional area. I don't know how you identify functional areas. I don't know you limited yourself to ICT. You should really have limited yourself to ICT and not go to financial. But if you went beyond that, well and good. But even within ICT, there are functional areas such as user support. Then column number 2 is identify the risks. And column number 3 is mitigation. Now we say that risks are not supposed to be excuses that which is supposed to do. Risks are actually unforeseen. Risks are things you don't have control over. Risks, and you can read in the everywhere. You can read even AI tools will tell you that risks. So an excuse for failure to carry out the work which you're supposed to be doing. Risks are supposed to be things you have no control over, such as obsoleteness of equipment. You have no control over. Out there, equipment is changing very fast, and you may find yourself having obsolete document. Your duty, therefore, is to react to that, to know that the equipment you have can come obsolete anytime at a particular time, and then have mitigation measures, including funding. So I'm going to look at what you have written, and I'll make some comments, and I hope you're not giving excuses or you're not accepting excuses by people who are supposed to have done their duty. No, it is those events, internal or external. For example, you have no control over losing your staff. They can resign anytime as a risk, especially young people. A risk is something like, risk is staff turnover. You have no control of that. It's individual who would say that I'm tired with this institution. But then you must mitigate against that. That is yet to be seen. So when I mark this assignment tomorrow, probably over the weekend. Right now I have got 3 second year booklets here. I'm looking at them on the other side of the room. Some of you know I've been marking this assignment, which has pended for about 6 or 7 weeks, which is unlike me. So when I mark the assignment, first is to make a comment and identify risks and give you examples and all that. It's the same one I'm doing here. Then I go through that. Then I check whether you are actually accepting excuses and things you're supposed to be doing, the institution is supposed to be doing. So know that, so that you are tough, you identify and you educate the institution or the auditee, the customer. That's it. Finally, attendance. Sign the attendance here. Duma signed 80J. Dungola signed. Other people like Amin have not signed. Make here you sign. Hayumbi, Alem, and so on for record purposes. Sign. The last group of people, Rina is here, has not signed. Verino Tieno is never come to school. Fidel, I believe you are here. Raman Juguna, Shadrach, and so on. Just genuine signature here. But finally, also I check on this side who are the people who are here. 55 people have come. I've attended this class. Amina, Wafa, Alem, Anita, Aringol, Bikuri is here, Ruwai is here, Ashim is here, Rama, Kyoko is here, Makule, Timbeya, Ryan Mutua, Mutuku. But I can also see who is not here. Where does it? It doesn't show me. Oh, this one doesn't have. This one doesn't show me the people. I think when I create Google Meet and invite people, it will tell me the people are not there. Anyway, sign the attendance register. I think that risk management concept, and it's not new, it's been in COVID, it's been there. Assignment has been done as of yesterday. You thought about it? Maybe you should, I don't know if you understand the comments I've just made. Maybe you think you have given excuses and so on. Why don't you withdraw this and redo it? I'll give you up to midnight tonight. In case I'm not marking it today. You can withdraw the document and prepare proper risks, things which are truly challenges, things which are not necessarily the control or beyond the control. Risks, the things you need to anticipate that if they occur, will adversely affect your system, your services, your technology. And then you consider mitigation measures and appropriate. I know you use chat GBT and so on. I want to see the customization of the context in the institution that you are working on. And I read through your receipt, intended or unintended. If your hand is up, you want to be the teacher for the class, can I exit and make you the professor?
No, I don't. I just wanted to ask a question.
Go on.
Yes. For the risk, do you want more than one or?
I don't know whether we gave a number. Let's see, what do the instructions indicate? First of all, what did you identify as functional areas? Were they within ICT or within the entire institution? So
Because I
someone,
was working on COOPs, I did the entire institution.
sawa sawa. So what are your typical functional areas?
There's like communications and
Communication,
management. There's planning.
yes, and there is
Yeah.
ICT.
So yeah.
Okay. Now then, for each, I may have not given a number, but I would have expected if you have 5 functional areas, you should identify a number of risks, maybe 3, maybe 4, maybe 5. I don't know what I said in the instructions, and I'm trying to see. You are required to, 10 risks. 10, it says here 10. So if your functional areas are 5, 10 risks each, I'd say the number 10. And no one questioned about this, whether it's too small, too large. So yes, for each risk, for each functional area, so let's assume there are 5 functional areas, each one of them 10. You get it? It's quite a number. I'm just looking at it and say, did I really mean 10? Or was it supposed to be 10 for a selected number? But I've said this, so it's supposed to be like that. So you want to identify 50 different risks and their mitigation. Some of them could cut across, by the way. It's not that they must be unique. Some of them can cut across. I mean, things like budgetary control. I see people on screen here, some are acknowledging. Some of them, things like when in public institutions, is availability of financial resources, which cuts across every section. So it's not necessarily that must be unique. So no wonder stay like that. So, and someone is busy asking someone to
Excuse me,
share a
sir.
link. Whoever is asking for the link, don't ask here, ask your colleagues. Alex, you want to say something now that I've told you? I want to see a sheet written in either portrait form or matrix with at least 50 risks listed
I,
there. The comprehensive. You are young people, you need to think. You may use your AI. AI is a tool. You need to contextualize it to COOPS, to CMA, and any other institutions. Alex,
yeah. I just feel that like 50 is really a lot. Like it's on the
I agree. But me, I'm
extreme
looking
side.
at it and I'm saying, did I actually say 50? But you are the freedom. I do my ear saying loving loud, yeah, 50. But I'm just reading what
Yeah,
was
for
written.
me, I did
For you, you did what? 55. Thank you.
no 10, 10, and yeah. So I'm wondering where I'm going to
But
get
no
50
one asked
from.
this earlier. Maybe it's exactly the question that Edith was asking. But you never raised it earlier. I'm just looking at what was documented, and I'm saying this is what it is. Craig Amondi, what do you have to say?
Yes. So, what I have to say, it was identifying 10 risks in total. And
Mhm.
then now, for the 10 risks, you look at the functional areas. So, like maybe three risks in one functional area, three
I,
risks in
I
another functional
think
area.
that
But
sounds more like it. Even me, I'm surprised.
yeah, it was 10 in total, then splitting it
Yeah,
up.
even Immaculate has thought here. Me, I just reading literally. And you did 10. Sawa, that's okay. That's okay. Even me, I'm laughing and I'm saying, I said, for, he said 10. Well, Sawa, that's okay. That's okay. Edith, it's really not the number, but diversity of those areas and diversity of risks. You see, now with the 10, you don't have to repeat. See, if you're 50, I said some of them are repeated, but that's agreed. If you've identified 10, but as long as you share them with some functional areas, and then for each mitigation measure. So that's agreed upon. Nothing to worry about the numbers.
And
10:18, and I'm
also,
out of here now. You can also give me assignment to do.
you'd need to edit it, sir, because we can't unsubmit or resubmit.
I need to edit that assignment.
Like the timeline, you say that we can redo it and submit by today.
Yes, I'm going to do that. He has given me an assignment which I carry forward, and I'm going to go right here and I say edit, and I'm saying if you want to revise this, especially when I've said close after
Yes,
submission, some of them, and I'm going to change the date,
yes.
and I'm going to change the date. Which one do you want, Alex? 20th, which is today, or
Uh,
21st?
no, the one that was due yesterday. I just want to incorporate the comments we've made.
This is the one. This is assignment number 8, risk
Risk,
identification. It
risk.
was due
Yes,
yesterday, 19th. So I changed it to what, 20th or 21st?
20th. Today is okay with me.
I changed it today. That's okay. So that is done. And the time is midnight and they saved here. And yes, it's really that principle of continuous improvement. So the assignment which Alex has given me, I've extended that timeline. You have no problem retrieving, and I think you are working as group. Probably this is group work, isn't it?
No, it's individual.
Or is individual? Individual, I like it, is what brings out the active people and the not so active. That's okay. But then the next, what I want to say, finally, if I go back to that Google Classroom, the next assignment, which is due tomorrow, this one I'm changing the time, not unless maybe you're okay. No one has submitted. Risk based auditing now, it's group work, I believe it is. Give me a date. It's due tomorrow, but given the assignment here, I am changing that from tomorrow. Give me a date for that assignment, as long as it doesn't affect the others that much.
23rd, please.
23rd, eh?
Yeah.
23rd, it is midnight. Our time here is always midnight. So that has also been changed. So the two assignments together then deal with risks. The rest will continue in that order, in the order in which they are scheduled here. Very well then. Thank you, and let's call it a day. Let's end there. Let's practice. Let's do the assignments to practice this issue of risk. And then next week, Wednesday, I believe it is, our speaker should come and ask him all the questions. Have to introduce him about risk management, about career, what he does, and they will tell you. Eh? And he will educate you and give you exposure to that outside world which you are seeking to get to.
There was also communication for another, I don't know, maybe another talk, so I'm not sure
Yeah.
whether it's
Hmm?
there is communication for another talk too on that day. So
I
I'm
saw
not sure
some
whether
faculty member. We wanted to assess
yes.
masters, and I saw a faculty member. I don't know whether it's Wausi or who is it. What is communication? What's that? What's that talk about next week, March 26th, Wednesday afternoon, 2:30?
Something with the LX for soft skills.
And do you remember Tevin who has organized it? I saw a lecturer. I don't know whether it's Orwa or
It
Wausi
was
or you.
Maurice who had sent it to the entire second year, third year, and fourth year groups. So we're wondering, I'm sure it will be in the undergraduate lab, so maybe us we can do ours in the master's lab if it's possible.
Yeah, they cannot come and override me.
Yeah.
Morris and his chair is going to see fire from me. I mean, I've even seen Morris circulate. They cannot. So what is it about debrief? Anyway, let me find out. We need, by the way, even your talk um, had invited undergraduate as well. But I think we're going to do it in a manner that the two events can take place. You choose which one to go to. They talk about IS audits, particularly for you. So we will find a venue that Morris, now the fire will be, find a venue and a decent venue for us to have that engagement. The MSc Lab is one of those. It's good actually. It's very good for you all this, and I'll check. This is all molding you, and it's all valuable information. So I don't think there is a cause for alarm. So we'll communicate accordingly, and we'll advise the venue and the management of those events. Very well. Keep well. We'll see you next time. God bless.
God bless you.